talk about the past a lot. Maybe we're talking about 1 minute ago, or yesterday, or last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. So we need to be able to use the past tenses correctly. In my experience as an English teacher and an IELTS teacher, many English learners have trouble with the past simple. They either don't use it at all and use the present tense, or they try to use it but they make mistakes. So I have 5 tips that will help you to use the past simple correctly. In future videos we will look at the other past tenses as well as the present tenses and the future tenses. So let's begin with tip number 1. So the first thing you need to ask yourself when speaking is, when am I talking about? Am I talking about the past? Am I talking about the present? Or am I talking about the future? Now, there are certain words or phrases that should trigger past tense. I must use the past tenses here. For example, if we hear anything like last week, last year, or the word ago, as in 10 years ago, or if someone says when you were blah 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 blah, you think, okay, I'm talking about the past here. So first thing you need to do is think about whether you need to use the past tense. Many of my students, when they don't use the past simple, and I point this out to them, they simply say, I forgot. So don't forget, it's very important. So first tip, it sounds obvious, but ask yourself, do I need to use the past simple? Now, some of the most common verbs we use are irregular. This means that to make the past simple, we don't simply add ed, as we do with regular verbs. There is a special form that you need to learn. Luckily, I have produced a list of, I think pretty much all the irregular verbs, or certainly all the verbs you'll need. This is available on our app. Also on the website. I will put the links below. So unfortunately, the only way around this is to learn them. So I suggest you do that. There are around 150 words there. You probably know most of them already, but do go through them, make sure you know them all, and that will be a big help to you. With regular verbs, to make the past simple form, all we need to really do is add ed to the end. Now, this ed sound can be pronounced one of 3 different ways. It could be a d sound, it could be a t sound, or it could be an id sound. Let's start with the id sound. So any verb that ends with, or any regular verb that ends with d or t, the past simple form we say id. So for example, need. The past simple form would be needed. This is because it's the easiest way to say it. It's easier to say needed than need. Can't do it, it's too difficult. So if the verb ends with a d or a t, the ed past simple form is id. Now with all the other regular verbs, to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about whether it's d or t. We can go into why. Basically, it's if the final sound of the verb is unvoiced, meaning we don't use our voice box, then the ed sound will be a t. However, if the final sound is voiced, then using this, the ed sound will be a d. Again, it's simply what's easiest to do. The important thing is that you say the ed sound. If you say d and it should be t, you say t, it should be d. Still better than not using the past simple when you should. Now, if you really want to practice this, again, the website and the app have information on hundreds of regular verbs, whether it's der, to, or id, so please check that out. One problem many English learners have is that in their own language, for example Vietnamese, I live in Vietnam so I know about this very well, in these languages they don't always say the sounds at the ends of words. And the problem is when they speak English they do the same thing, they drop these final sounds. But this is a problem because in English, you know, the grammar happens at the ends of words, adding s, adding ed, and so on. So you really need to say these sounds. If you don't say the d at the end of a word, then you know you're not using the past simple. You're basically using the present simple. So you've got to get this right. Now, a little trick for you is using connected speech. I will make more videos about connected speech because it's an important feature of speaking and it will also help your listening. But for now, let's talk about one little aspect. So we have vowels and we have consonants. The 5 vowel letters are A, E, I, O and U. Although there are actually many more vowel sounds because we have A, we have R, we have A, and so on. Now, the consonants are all the others, so B, K, S, D, F, G, and so on. Now, when the last sound of a word is a consonant, and then the first sound of the next word is a vowel, we can actually put that consonant and vowel together. So we're moving the sound from the end of that one word to the beginning of the next word. Let me give you an example. I played a game. We don't say I played a game. Sound like a robot if we talk like that. And if I say it more slowly, you say I play the game. So I've moved the d from the end of play to the beginning of the next word, So play the game. So if you have trouble saying the sounds at the ends of words, well, a lot of the time you can put it at the beginning of the next word, if it begins with a vowel. Now, lots of words in English begin with vowels, and I will put up a list of those words in example sentences using play or played. So you can see how that works. That will be on the website. So please take a look at that and again practice using connected speech. So the final tip, and that is simply practice. Like many things in life, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. For example, learning to drive a car. When you first learn to drive a car, you really have to think, okay, keys in, handbrake, etc., etc. But the more you drive, the easier it becomes, and eventually it becomes what we say second nature. You can do it automatically, you don't need to think about it. And it's exactly the same with English and the past simple. You know, at first you need to really, like I said in tip number 1, think about it. Right, when am I talking about? Oh gosh, I'm talking about the past, I need to use the past tense. But, you know, the more you practice, eventually it will become second nature. So, you know, keep practicing and really, at first, really focus on making sure you get these things right, and eventually you won't need to think about it. You will do it naturally. Now, one way you can practice is using a little past simple speaking game I've made. This is available for download on the website. So you can play this, you can play with friends, or you can even play alone. You know, for example, you could record yourself speaking and then listen to yourself afterwards, check, Did I use the past simple? Did I use it correctly? Again, you can find all the answers on the website, all the different past simple forms. So, people think, oh, I need to speak to somebody. Well, no, you can speak alone. I'm doing it right now. Hopefully some of you will watch this. Otherwise I'm talking to myself. But anyway, so yeah, all I'm saying is practice. Really concentrate on getting it right at first, and as I've said, with time you won't need to think about it. So practice, practice, practice. Try my board game. So there we go. 5 tips to help you with the past simple. Just to review very quickly. Number 1, think about what tense you need to use when you're speaking. When are you talking about? If it's the past, use the past tense. Number 2 was learn your irregular verbs. Remember, you've got the app and the website to help you. Links below. Number 3 was your regular verbs. Again, d, t, or id. Again, the website and the app can help you with that. Number 4 was using connected speech. So if the word after the verb it begins with a vowel, then you can move this d or t or even id to the beginning of the next word. So check out the website, a list of common words beginning with vowels with example sentences. That will help you. And finally, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Have I said practice enough yet? Practice. Use that speaking game, record yourself, speak with other people, whatever, but please, you need to practice. So I hope that was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and share. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications bell. There will be many, many more videos coming out, not only about tenses. I mentioned connected speech. There'll be more IELTS videos. Anything to do with English, I will make a video about it in time. So thank you very much for watching, and there'll be another video soon. Don't forget to check out the website and download our app. All free. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Blah, blah, blah.